Have you ever hit send on an email and immediately wished you could pull it back? Or maybe watched a tiny disagreement with someone you care about just explode into a massive fight? Yeah, we've all been there, right? Today, we're going to dig into the power of not reacting. It's a skill that can genuinely put you back in the driver's seat of your own life, one choice at a time.
Okay, so let's just kick things off with a pretty bold statement. This might go against everything you've ever been told, but what if our emotions, that gut feeling, that inner voice we're supposed to trust, are actually, well, kind of sabotaging us? Here's the deal. Our emotional responses are basically ancient software. This system was perfectly designed for, running from a saber-toothed tiger. But when that exact same fight or flight system kicks in because you got a passive-aggressive email from your boss, well, that old wiring isn't just unhelpful anymore. It's actively working against your success.
So, let's get into the specifics. What's the real, tangible cost of letting these emotions run the show? Because it turns out, the damage goes way deeper than just a moment of regret.
Just think about it for a second. You're in a meeting, someone pokes a hole in your idea, and you feel that hot flash of anger. Boom, that's a little chip away at your professional reputation. Or you're at home, a tiny comment spirals into a huge fight, and suddenly the relationship feels strained. Every single time this happens, you're not just having a bad moment, you're flooding your system with stress hormones and literally training your brain to fail.
And I mean that literally. This isn't some motivational poster fluff, it's actual biology. Chronic emotional reactivity physically changes your brain. It can actually shrink your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain you need for smart, rational thinking. So the more you react without thinking, the less capable you become of, well, thinking. To figure out how to fix this, we've got to look under the hood and understand what's really going on inside our own heads. It's basically a battle between two very different parts of your brain. So in one corner, you've got the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's hypersensitive, lightning-fast alarm system. It's constantly scanning for threats. And in the other corner, you've got the prefrontal cortex. This is your slow, thoughtful CEO, responsible for logic, planning, and impulse control. You can probably see the problem already. This huge difference in speed sets up the perfect conditions for something called an amygdala hijack. Basically, your emotional alarm system sees a threat, and it really doesn't care if it's a tiger or a text message, and it yanks the emergency brake, completely shutting down all access to your rational brain. And just look at these numbers. This is what's so wild. The amygdala goes off in about 12 milliseconds. Your rational brain, the CEO, needs around 500 milliseconds just to figure out what's going on. The emotional reaction has already happened and left the building before you're even consciously aware that you need to think. It's not a fair fight at all. So this is absolutely crucial to get, that emotional reaction is an automatic process. It's not a character flaw, it's just biology. But what it does mean is that we need a completely new strategy, because just calming down isn't going to cut it. All right, let's talk about leveling up, because emotional control isn't just an on or off switch. It's a skill you can build, and it happens across 4 pretty distinct stages. So most of us start at level 1, where you're basically a puppet on an emotional string. Level 2 is that super frustrating place where you know you're overreacting as it's happening, but you just can't stop it. The real game changer is level 3. You feel the emotion rise up, but you choose a different path. And the final boss, level 4, emotional alchemy. That's where you can actually take that raw negative energy and turn it into something productive. So just take a second here and be honest with yourself. When it comes to your work or your relationships, where are you on this scale most of the time? Knowing your starting point is the absolute first step to moving up. So how do we actually start climbing that ladder, especially when things are heated and we're in the moment? Let's walk through a simple but really powerful tool you can start using today. And this is designed specifically for that red alert moment, that full-on amygdala hijack we were talking about. When your rational brain has been knocked offline, you can't use complex strategies. You need something simple, something that's almost a reflex.
It's called the S.T.O.P method. 4 letters, 4 actions. Think of it as the emergency circuit breaker for an emotional spiral. It's designed to give you just enough space to get back in control. Let's break it down.
First up, S is for stop. And I mean physically stop. Whatever you're doing, just freeze. Take your hands off the keyboard, close your mouth. This simple physical act sends a powerful signal to your brain that something is changing. And you have to learn your body's early warning signs, that tightness in your chest, your clenched jaw.
That's your cue to stop. Next, T is for take a breath. But listen, not just any breath. You want to do what's called box breathing. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, and then, this is the key, a long, slow exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. That long exhale is the magic button. It literally activates your nervous system's calm down response.
Okay, the third step, O, is for observe. Now you need to become a detective. Your only job here is to separate the cold, hard facts from the dramatic story you're telling yourself about the facts. So, fact, my coworker turned in their report first. Story, they're trying to make me look bad and steal my promotion, right? We almost always react to the story, not the fact. And only after you've done that do you get to P, proceed. Now you can move forward with intention, not from a place of raw, hijacked emotion. It's not about not acting, it's about choosing the right action.
Once you start practicing this S.T.O.P method, a fundamental shift begins to happen. You move from blindly reacting to everything to thoughtfully responding with purpose. And this, really, is the ultimate payoff. There's this incredible idea from a psychiatrist named Viktor Frankl. He said that between the thing that happens to us, the stimulus, and how we ultimately respond to it, there is a space.
And that space, even if it's just a nanosecond, that space is everything. Tools like the S.T.O.P method aren't about getting rid of emotions. They're about making that space just a little bit wider. Because that space is where all of your power lives.
And what you do in that space doesn't just impact the next 5 minutes. The sum of all those tiny choices, the choice to pause instead of snapping, to breathe instead of escalating, that is what literally builds the entire trajectory of your career, your relationships, your whole life.
So I'll just leave you with this question. The next time the pressure hits, the next time you feel that ancient alarm bell ringing in your head, are you going to react or are you going to respond? Because now you know that choice is always yours.